Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and hopefully in today's episode you guys are going to find this very helpful and very awesome, as we will be going over the Touch Portal integration with Microsoft Flight Simulator, and this thing is awesome. If you are interested in acquiring any of my Overkill's tutorial guides for Microsoft Flight Simulator, please consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides, as well as any future updates and future guides that will be coming down the road. Link to Patreon can be found in the description below. Okay, so right out of the gate, guys, I want to make sure that you guys all listen very carefully and try not to skip any of the video. If you do, you may miss a detail that will absolutely hang you up and have you chasing and pulling your hair out. So I'm going to do my best not to ramble. You guys know I like to ramble, especially when it's something that I'm excited about. I'm going to do my best not to do that. So with that in mind, just try not to skip any of the video. Watch it step by step so I can show you guys some cool tricks and how it's set up and how it integrates. Now, let's get right into it. First off, in order to get the most out of this application and truly take advantage of its features with Microsoft Flight Simulator, plan on spending $13.99 US. This is a payware. The software itself is free, but the base version, the free version I should say, is very limited. You're limited, I think, to only 8 buttons and 1 page, where the payware version is many pages as you want and up to 101 buttons per page. So now we have that out of the way, let's talk about what it is. Touch Portal is a software that can be used on either Android or iOS to integrate with multiple types of different pieces of software or utilities on your Windows or Mac machine. And for example, you know, these are some of the softwares that it automatically works with. You can use it as a remote control for OBS, Streamlabs, Premiere Pro, Photoshop, etc., even Discord, and then many others. You can customize your own buttons. There are button packs and icon packs that you can download to change the way the buttons look. You can create sliders, all kinds of stuff. I mean, if you wanted to really get down deep, guys, you can even control your throttle for this. Now, let's talk about the add-on that caught our attention. Here's the add-on that I did a real brief news article on yesterday in the mods, tools, and add-ons video. This plugin creates a option to display a ton of very valuable information. Everything from radio frequency. Here you have just the basics, your vertical speed, etc. You guys can see all the different features that are on this particular page. Okay, here's another one. Again, there's your axis controls that I was talking about, right down to the trim wheel. So a ton of really cool stuff. Now, what I'm going to show you guys today is how to set it up yourselves and how to do some custom work. I always like to start from the bottom up rather than just importing other profiles, but we may go over that at the end of the video. We'll see how long it takes. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about downloading, installation, and the software requirements that we're going to need in order for it to function smoothly on our systems. Okay, so first off, downloading the software. So from the Touch Portal page, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come all the way down to the bottom, or what you can simply do is go to Downloads and go to Touch Portal, and it will take you to the bottom of the page. We're going to be using the Windows 10 11 64-bit version for today's video, but if you guys have something different, obviously you guys know how to download what you need. We're going to select Download, and at that point it will automatically start the download and put it into our Downloads directory. Now, I've already downloaded all these files, so I'm just going to show you guys what you need to do. Next thing we're going to need is we're going to go to Downloads, and we're going to go to Icon Packs. And we're going to grab this Flight Simulation Pack, click on it, select Download again. Again, that will download. Keep these downloads somewhere it's very easy to access, as we will be importing both of them once we complete the installation process. Okay, and then finally, what we're going to do is you have 2 ways to get here. The plugin that we're referring to is actually already listed on the Touch Portal website. So we're going to go to Plugins. Then we're going to scroll almost to the bottom. And here it is, the MSFS SimConnect plugin. We're going to click on that. You can go to Website, okay, which will take you to the GitHub. So we're just going to wait. Now it's already up there. I'm just showing you guys. So this is the site that it will take you to. I will have a link to this site in the description below as well. So once you get to this site, you're going to go here to releases. Read through this process or this changelog here so you can get an idea of the WASM module. It just basically adds some further features and integrations into Microsoft Flight Simulator. We'll be talking about how to arrange all that later. Excuse me. We're going to download the Microsoft Touch Portal Plugin .tpp and the WASM module beta 2 zip. Okay, make sure that you guys grab both of those. Once you have those are all the files that we're going to need for today's tutorial. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is you're going to go to your downloads or wherever you grab these, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to run this installer right here, touchportalsetup.exe. At the end of the installation, and you can install it to whichever directory of your choosing. At the end of it, you will be asked to restart your machine. Make sure that you do that, otherwise your portable device, cell phone, tablet, etc. will not be detectable. So you need to make sure that you do that. Also, if you have your Windows firewall turned on, you will need to give the Touch Portal access through the firewall. My local firewall is disabled. I only block external connections, so I didn't have to worry about that, but it's going to be up to you. Now, it will give you an option to allow access through the firewall when you do the install if you have your firewall configured. Just simply tell it yes, and you should be okay. If not, you'll have to go through the port forwarding process and show how that's done. Okay. Next, once you have completed the installation process and you have restarted your computer, let's move on to the next segment. We are going to unzip, the WASM module. Let's go 7-zip, extract to, however you want to do it. If you don't have 7-zip, just extract. You guys know how to extract a zip file, I'm sure. And this folder right here, whether you use add-ons, link, or anything like that, you want to make sure that you copy this into the community folder for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Okay, this one just goes into the community folder. All right, easy peasy. So that's complete. Our installation is now complete at this point. So now all we have left are the icon packs and the plugin. So at this time, let's go ahead and take a look at something else here. Let me close my portal. I don't want it running right now. Matter of fact, let me close a couple things because we're going to do some fun testing here in a minute. All right. So now from your portal, you want to come up here to your icon, and you can do this from start menu, whatever. If you don't like icons, I don't typically keep desktop icons, so however you want to do it. For example, I think mine is pinned to the start menu. Well, nope, we're going to do it now. Oh, yes, it is. So let me come back over here. I'm going to right click here. I'm going to go to more. And you want to be able to run it as an administrator. So in this particular scenario, you can either go to the installation directory. So what I can do is go into where I installed it, gaming. And let's find the Touch Portal. There it is. And I'm going to find the Touch Portal EXE. I'm going to right click, go to properties, go to compatibility, and you want to make sure you check run this program as an administrator. The reason being is it has the ability to launch third-party applications such as, SPAD.next or NeoFly or Navigraph, whatever buttons that you want to create. I'm going to show you guys how to do that today. In order to be able to launch those programs, it has to have administrator access. Okay, so you want to grant that access. That way it has that if you choose to use that feature. And trust me, you guys are going to see the value of this really, really quick, I hope. So now that we have our connection set up, or our start parameter set up, let's go ahead and launch it. Okay, so one of the things that you're going to get, gosh darn it, I really hate that I can't do this, is you're going to get a screen. You know what, I can do this. So it gives you pop-up screens, but I can't move them. So I'm going to show you guys something. It doesn't let me drag them. There we go. This is what you're going to see when you start the program up. And I know that's probably a little hard to see. Let me see if I can zoom this out a bit for you guys real quick. There you go. Take a look at that. This is what it's going to look like. It's going to be reminding you to grant your touch portal permissions to go through the firewall. And you can see at the bottom where it says FAQ, how to add touch portal to your Windows firewall. So if you're not sure how to do that, and you know that your firewall is active, simply click that article and it should walk you through the steps on how to give it access. Okay. So I'm going to hit OK on that. I'm going to close that screenshot. I don't need it. All right. So this is the main page that we are now presented with. And I can clear this. Don't worry about that. It's irrelevant. Something for the OBS. Okay. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to now add the icon pack, and we need to add the MSFS portal. So we're going to go to settings, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to import plugin. When you click import plugin, you're going to be presented with this dialog box. Go to the location, and you can see it already knows which file to look for. You select this file, hit open, and it will add. Now, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it, even though it's already in there. I hope it doesn't duplicate anything or do anything weird. But another window that will pop up, let me get a screenshot of it. Like I said, unfortunately, I'm unable to move them. That's the only thing I don't like, is that I can't move the windows. So there it is there. And again, I will expand this for you guys so you can see a bit better. So there you can see it is basically warning you that it doesn't know the publisher. Okay. And so this is not Windows. It is Touch Portal saying, we're not 100% sure about this guy. You know, are you sure you want to install this? Okay. Just go ahead and tell it yes. Or I select trust always, because obviously we'll probably be updating this in the future. So I hit trust always, and then you should see something that looks like this. Again, I hate that I can't move these. And I would normally record the screen, but it says plugin imported successfully. Okay, so you're just going to click OK here. Let me close the screenshot, and I clicked OK. And the reason why I can't record the screen that it's on is it's a super ultra wide. It's a 49-inch monitor, so it would absolutely skew the crap out of it. Okay, so now we have our plugin installed. The next thing that we're going to do is install the icon pack. So we're going to go import icon pack, and again, it automatically finds it. That is the TPI. Now this one I'm not going to select because I did find out it will duplicate it if I do it more than once. So you just click this and hit open, and there will be a prompt that says it's successfully installed. It happens very, very fast. You won't get any warnings or anything like that. It just boom, drops it in there. Okay, boom. So now that's done. So our next step now is to configure to get the application installed on the portable device. So whether it be your cell phone or an Android tablet, iOS tablet, and I really recommend this for a tablet. So let's go ahead and start taking a look at the tablet portion. Okay, for the tablet portion, this part is also, by the way, where you would make the purchase to the Pro upgrade. You do it from the portable device, and I'll show you that once we get it all done. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to hit Play Store. And again, it's obviously going to be the Apple Store for you Mac users, but this is Android. And we're going to go to Touch Portal Pro. That's what we're looking for. So just search Touch Portal Pro. And at this point, obviously, you would hit install. I've already installed it. So at this point, I'll go to open. And now what you should see is if we look back on our main display here on the desktop, you should see device connected. Okay, connected instantly. If it doesn't, restart both apps. Now keep in mind the desktop app here, you must close it from down here in the micro menu. You just right click and hit exit, or you can hit restart, and you should get the same behavior. If it's not connecting, you likely, there's a firewall issue, and these are the ports that it's using as well in case you need that information for any port forwarding. All right, but assuming that you're seeing what I'm seeing here, now let's talk about how to upgrade to the Pro version. And again, if you're going to use this, I highly recommend you just buy it because you're going to want it. So we're going to go to the cart. And once you go to the cart, you can see there is my Pro upgrade. You can see that I've already purchased it. That's the only thing I've purchased. I haven't purchased any of the other add-ons or anything like that. I'm not worried about that yet. Maybe later on down the road, we'll mess around with it and do some cool stuff, but it looks like more cosmetic stuff than anything. What we're looking for is the ability to create multiple pages and 101 buttons if we want. And for that, we need the Pro version. Okay. So once you have that purchased, restart your apps. And now we should be ready to start configuring the actual application. So let's go ahead and get started. All right. So now it's time to have some fun. you should be presented with this page here, which is the main page. Okay, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make a bit of a structure process. Okay, we're going to make sure that our folders are structured correctly and then align those pages with that location. So from the main page, what we're going to do is we're going to click up here at the top. You know what, let me go ahead and make this a bit bigger because I shouldn't need too much space here. Now, I do want you guys to have the heads up of something here. Oh, gosh darn it, I moved the wrong window. I hate it when I do this. That's all right. Shouldn't take too much. Sorry, guys. I skewed up our window. I didn't mean to skew up. Get it? Okay, so this one here, that's what I was looking to do. There we go. I'm just trying to give you guys as much visibility as possible here. Okay, so from here, we are going to go to Add. And the first thing that I recommend doing is what I've done here. You're going to select Folder up here in the top right. Then create a folder, Microsoft Flight Simulator, whatever you want. This is where we're going to have all of anything that's associated with Microsoft Flight Simulator. All right, and then once we have that, we're going to go back to Page. And from here, we're going to go to Page, or New. And I'm going to call this one Launch. And this is where I'm going to be able to launch any of my third-party applications, SPAD.next, NeoFly, Navigraph Charts, FS Realistic, things like that, right? So I'm going to call this just the launch page. All right. Then we're going to go ahead and create another one under that domain, or under that folder, I should say. And this page is going to be called, we're just going to call this Flight. Now this is going to be very general and very generic, if you will. But it's where we're going to start putting in some flight functions. So now you can see that it automatically puts you on the page that you went to last. So we're going to come up here and we're going to go back to the MSFS directory, and we're going to start, well, actually, no, excuse me, from the main page, we need to create a new button. Up here is the grid control. Okay, this is where you have your number of buttons per row, and then over here is the number of rows. And by the way, if you don't buy the Pro version, this is what you're limited to right here. This is it. Okay, so first I'm going to do is I'm going to make this, I'm probably going to use the crap out of this. I really like this application already. So I'm going to set that to 8. And I think I'm going to use 3 rows at least. That gives me 24 different pages, different domains I could go to, if you will. Now, to edit the button, I don't like this button at all. So let's do this. We're going to go, and actually, excuse me, we are in the flight page. I need to back out. Let's go back to the main page. I am so sorry. I'm glad I caught that. So from the main page, okay, now we need to create the access to the Microsoft Flight Simulator category. So from here, again, we still have, you can see I've done 6 and 3 is actually what I did over here. Now I'm going to select the main page button here, and it will bring up this here. This is the window that comes up, and you guys are going to have to wait for me to drag that up every single time, and I apologize. But let's change this up because I don't really like just main page, all right? It's just sort of a boring button. So let's add a button. So from here, I'm going to go to button images, and I'm going to go to from icon packs. And you can see here, it's already got our flight sim pack selected, but if it doesn't, you just hit the drop down arrow and select the one that you want, whatever button pack it may be. And I think I'm going to use this gray button here. And you can see it sort of throws it on just like that. And we can go back to the text if we want. Right now it's alignment is centered. Let's bring the size of the font down a little bit. There we go. Main page. Perfect. I'm going to hit save. And now you can see that has changed. Now, if you have your Android device or tablet connected, you should be seeing that same page over there. Okay. Now, if you want to set a specific page to the default, where every time you launch the app, it automatically goes to that page, you would go to settings and select the page that you want to be on. In this case, we're going to leave it on the main page. And we would go to settings, set as default page. And then on your tablet, you would select the refresh button in the top right corner. And we'll be dealing with the tablet more here in a little bit. Okay. So now we briefly saw how to edit a button. Let's look at how to create one. So we want to create an access to the MSFS directory. So what we're going to do first is we're going to click where our button grid was, and then it'll bring up the creator here. And our first thing that we want to do, we want to go to navigation, the category here on the left. Notice there's a ton of different subcategories, and we're going to be dealing with a few of them. But we're going to start with navigation and go to page. I mean, you can even select go to a website if you wanted to, guys. Okay, so we're going to go to page, and then from here, from the drop down, we're going to choose which page we want it to go to when we press this button. And we want to go to the launch page. Okay, now we need to give this button a name, and I'm just going to title it MSFS. And I think I'm going to change the font on this one. I like the Roboto, kind of looks a little bit better. And from here, again, I'm going to go to my icon pack. So go to the button images, icons, and let's use that gray button again. And there, that looks pretty good. We can go back to the text, maybe beef up the font just a little bit. It looks like it actually was at 12. What about 14? Can we do 14? There we go. That looks a bit better. Okay, now I do want to show you guys something real quick. Notice that these buttons are perfectly aligned. Okay, let me show you something. If we click on the edit button again, and it brings up the edit dialog, if I change the location, okay, this is the text location, is all this is. But it's kind of a pain in the butt, because watch this. If we switch that, for example, to top, okay, align top, notice it goes way up there. Watch what happens on our next screen. When I hit save, notice that they are no longer aligned. They are if you look at the white grid. Okay, so they are technically in line with each other, but it will make your buttons look a little goofy if you're not ready for that. And you might be like, why aren't they aligned up? Technically they are. You want to follow the white grid around each of the button areas. That's really what's doing the alignment. So try to keep your text in the same kind of orientation. So I'm going to put that back to centered, hit save, and now we're back to ready to go. Okay. So makes that pretty easy. So now what we're going to do is, now we've created the access to the MSFS button. Now on your tablet, if we go ahead and go to our tablet and we select that button now and we press MSFS, you can now see it takes us to the MSFS page. We don't have anything in it other than this go to main button, but we can press that go to main button and it takes us back. Okay, so it all works out pretty well. And now we're going to start doing some work in the MSFS window. All right, so now to start creating some buttons, we're going to start with the launch window. Okay. So again, here is our go to main button. Again, we're going to edit that. I don't like it. So let's see here. We want Roboto. We want to change the icon. And I'm just going to change the title of this as well. And just call this, actually, I'm just going to call this home, I think. There we go. Let's do that. Okay. And this will turn us back to the home page. And you can see it has that background. I don't like that. And I'm going to move that. We're going to have a few buttons here. So this is where we're going to do, let's do 6 and 3. That's 24 applications that we could potentially launch. I also don't like the background on the button. So I'm going to bring my edit back up. And I'm going to go to this background section here and background visible. We're just going to uncheck that. And there we go. And now we hit save again and it looks nice and clean like the others. All right, so now let's start creating our first button to launch an application. One of the things that I am constantly forgetting, even right down to where it's time to record, is I always forget to launch spad.next. So that's what we're going to work on for me today. So I'm going to click the area that I want to create the button, bring the editor up, and in this case, we're going to go to Run and Open, Start Application, hit the point of ellipsis here to select our application. We're going to go to our application directory. You know what? Actually, let's start with NeoFly, because this is actually a real pain in the butt directory to get to for me. So I'm going to use, give me a second here. Should be this one here, I believe. Okay. And then now we're going to create our title. And NeoFly, I believe this is version 3. I hope it's not the 4. It doesn't really matter. You guys will still see the functionality and how cool this is. And again, finding our buttons. And you guys feel free to choose whichever button you like. For these particular, for just menu buttons, I like keeping it pretty consistent. And now we've saved that. Let's do some magic here. We're going to go to our tablet. Okay, I'm going to press the MSFS button on my tablet. So now I'm in the launch window, and I'm going to press our newly created NeoFly version 3 button. And guess what? There it is. So awesome stuff. You know what? And while we're here, let's go ahead and do this one more time. And I'm going to do one for version 4. So we're going to do, again, start application, point of ellipsis. And why did you take me here this time? That's interesting. That's very odd. Okay. Let's come back over here. Let's see what happened here. Oh, goodness gracious. All right. See, users overkill, app data. Should be roaming. And then it is Microsoft, Internet Explorer, Quick Launch, User Pinned, Taskbar. There we go. And let's grab the other one. This should be version 4. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to change my font. NeoFly version 4. I'm going to select my button again. I really like this button. It looks slick. There's that. And this time I'll show you guys what this all looks like here. Let me start the recording on this. It's got a countdown. Here we go. NeoFly version 4. I just pressed the button, and there it is up on screen. Move that over there. Okay, so you guys can see that's all working. So go ahead and stop the recording here on our tablet. There we go. Okay. All right. And then now let's, I'm going to close this window. We don't need it open anymore. Just demonstrating. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and do one more. I still want to do my spad.next. Okay. And by the way, on the tablet, if you guys saw, the go to main button was still blue. All I had to do was hit refresh up in the top right hand corner, and it fixed that. Okay. So let's go ahead and continue onward here. We're going to do one more button. We're going to bring it on up, and I'm going to do another start application. Again, I always forget to start spad.next. So I'm going to go to that directory, find it, hit OK. And we're going to call this one again. Okay, so not sure why my recording stopped at the wrong time, but apparently we've made a couple changes since you guys were watching. So we were stopped. We had just created the spad.next button. So now I'm hitting refresh on my tablet, and I'm going to select spad.next. And there it is. So I'm going to hit skip, go ahead and close it, but you guys can see that it launched. The next thing we did is we created this button. Okay, this is going to start moving us to our actual flight page where we start setting up controls for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So we create the button. I simply went to go to page, selected the flight page, titled it as flight, created our button, hit save, and off we go. And now when we depress the flight button on our tablet, it should take us to our flight page. So now we're going to go to the flight page and start editing. Now on our flight page, we had a go to main menu button. I right clicked on it. I selected delete because I wanted to create my own. So you hit delete, and actually we'll just do it and I'll walk you guys through it. So hit delete. It will ask you if you're sure you want to. You hit yes. And then now we're going to create our own button. And as you guys saw, I want go to page, and we're going to go back to the launch menu. And I'm just going to title this previous, previous page, however you guys want to do it. And I'm going to select our font. On this one, I'm actually going to do a bottom alignment. I'm going to show you what we're going to do in a minute. Find our icon. I'm going to use the up arrow here. So I'm right there. And hit add. Okay. And then from here, we're going to go back to the text editing. And the vertical offset, I'm actually going to increase to move the text to where I want it to be. Okay. And let's see here. I thought there was a way. Oh, mercy. That is not what I want. I think there is a way to... Nope. Update the size. That just moves the text. I thought there was a way to stretch the button size. But... Oh, icon full button size. There we go. That's what I wanted. Perfect. Nice. So you guys have that option as well. So when we hit save, you can see that the button now encompasses the entire section. So it's totally up to you guys how you guys want to do that. And I think just because it looks weird now, I'm going to go back into the edit menu. And I'm going to go ahead and type previous page. And from here, I think I'm just going to center it. I don't know why centering doesn't allow it to move. So let's go to the bottom offset and then bring it down. There we go. There, that looks very nice. Perfect. I like that. All right, so now we are going to start configuring buttons for Microsoft Flight Simulator and start controlling our airplane. All right, so now the moments you guys have been waiting for. We're going to start configuring this to work with Microsoft Flight Simulator and start creating some buttons for the aircraft. Now, we have one more prerequisite that you want to put in. Now, you can do this a couple of different ways. We can go to the launch, and actually, let's do that. We're going to go back to the launch page, and we're going to do one more. Now, unfortunately, what I don't think you can do is oh, yes, you can. You can move them. So I'm going to move that one over. You just drag and move. And I'm going to do one more button here. And I'm going to call this button Connect. And what we're going to do is we're going to tell the Touch Portal to connect to Microsoft Flight Simulator using the plugin. So again, set everything up. Let's find our button. We're going to use the same one we've been doing. Make the button full size. I'm going to do that with all of them later. And I think I'm going to increase the font a bit. Let's go to like 18. There we go. That looks nice. And we're going to hit save. Boom. Talk about a large button, right? And remember, this is on our launch page. Okay. So now on our launch page, which I'm going to go to on my tablet, I'm going to hit refresh. That way it updates with the newly connected button. And I'm going to press this connect button. What this does... Oh, I should probably give it a command first. Sorry, guys, I got excited. What we need to do first, is go to the MSFS plugin section. If the plugin was installed correctly, it should be there. And we're going to hit connect and update. Select that, and I'm going to select save. And all this button does is, again, either updates any of the current status, and we'll go into that a little bit later on, or connects it to the simulator. If you ever go to push a button and it doesn't work, chances are the Touch Portal isn't connected to Microsoft Flight Sim. Come back to this button wherever you put it, press it, and it should connect to the sim. Okay? And then from here, now we're going to start editing our flight page. So here's where this starts to get fun. I'm going to leave a little bit of space between that button and my next one, and we're going to start out with the battery. So we're going to create our button. Oh, you can see I already started there. Hang on a second. I didn't realize there was something there. There we go. Let's try that again. All right. So now we're going to go down to the MSFS electrical. Find the battery master or master battery. Select that in. And again, I'm going to title this battery. On the icon pack, I'm going to pick a different button. I'm going to pick this one here on the far left. Sort of grayed out with some hash. It's like a out light here. I'm going to use the max button size there. And I'm going to hit save. And then now on my tablet, let's go ahead and get that recording so you guys can see the action. So on the tablet here, I'm going to go to flight. And you can see there's nothing here. So I'm going to hit refresh in the top right. There's my battery button. And if I press battery, we still got nothing. So let's go back to the previous page. I'm going to hit connect again. Go to flight and press battery again. And there it is. And I can toggle that again, and it shuts the battery back off. And we can do this for a number of different things, but we're going to stick with the battery for a minute because now I'm going to show you how to make this really cool. All right, so now we're going to bring this button to life. We're going to have it change and indicate that the battery is on anytime the battery is on in the simulator. Let's get started. So we're going to click on our button here again, bring up our edit menu. Now, toggle master battery is the action that it's supposed to do. But what we want is on event. What do you want the button to do when the sim recognizes or reports certain actions? That's the best way to describe the events. The events that happen in the simulator. What do you want the button to do? So let's go to on event. Now, there are a couple different locations here. So under visuals, you're going to want change button visuals, and you can right click and hit favorites. Obviously mine would remove it. You have your favorites up here at the top. Okay. And then the other one that you're going to want in order to make this work, and you're going to probably be doing this quite a bit, is, give me a second. I got to find it. Bear with me. I'm sorry. And what you can actually do, this is how I found it last time, come to the top and just type when in our case. And what we're looking for is this one, when plugin state changes. But I want to find the actual location for you guys. There it is, under X values. When plugin state changes, again, right click that, and I recommend adding that to the favorites. You're going to be using that a lot, okay? If you want to do this particular step. So here's what we're going to do. When plugin state changes is the first event. We're going to add that in. Then we're going to select Microsoft Touch Portal Plugin. We're going to find the electrical again. We're going to find the master battery status and changes to 1. Okay. Remember, everything that computers use is binary, ones and zeros for the most part. Now values, flaps, drag, things like that, that's a different ball game, but bear with me. So in our case, 1 is on, 0 is off. So when the status in Microsoft Flight Simulator of the battery changes to 1, so the battery is turned on, we want to change button values or visuals. Then we're going to come here and change icon. Change icon. Icon packs. Bring this up. We're going to find our cool green button here and hit add. And hit add again. Okay. So now, obviously, we needed to do the inverse. So we're just going to do when plugin state changes again. And rinse and repeat, electrical, master battery status, and this time changes to 0 when it turns off. We want it to change. I'm sure you guys can figure out where we're headed now. Change icon from icon pack. Bring this up. And now we want to go back to the off light. So we're going to hit add, boom, hit save. Now, when we go to our tablet, okay, so let's bring up the simulator again. And I press that button. There's a battery on. There's a battery off. Now, even if I watch what happens with the button, if I manually turn the batteries on and manually turn them off. Pretty cool, right? So, one of the many options that we have for configuring this particular piece of software. So the last thing I'm going to show you guys is how to import somebody else's profile. Okay, if we go back to the download page, okay, this is the GitHub. Okay, a link to this will again will all be down in the description, but this is the main page. Remember, we went over here in the beginning, went to releases. Okay, so, and if you can't find it, you just click up here on this name and it'll bring you back to this page if you're still on the GitHub. So we're going to scroll down. And here are a few pages and examples that you guys can grab. So for example, let's do, this is a really good one. Okay, so we're going to do this code here. Let me change that filter so you guys can see something. All right, so this takes you to another GitHub, and all of these do. All right, so what we're going to do here is, again, come here to releases, just like we did before. And you guys can see an example of what we got coming here. Okay, so this is going to be pretty awesome. So we're going to download the latest version, which we're just going to come down and make sure that's current. Yep, 121. So he's keeping up on his documentation. That's freaking wonderful. So we're going to grab this. It downloads in the bottom. You can see it downloading there. How did this get all messed up again? I fixed this earlier. There we go. All right, so now that's fixed. Okay, we're going to go back to our Explorer. I'm going to go to our downloads. We're going to find the file that we just downloaded. I'm going to use 7-zip and extract it to its own name. And what we're going to be interested in is going to be inside here, but you don't have to worry about trying to figure this out. So if we want to import a page, we're going to come over here to our pages. Okay, now this is going to put it under the directory. You want to make sure it's under the in the domain that you're in. But we're going to go to Settings, Import Page, and I'm using, this is going to determine how is your tablet set up. Is it set up in portrait mode, you mean tall wise, or is it landscape like a monitor? Mine's in landscape mode, so I'm going to download that one, and we hit open. And watch the magic. Now we want everything. I'm just going to leave it as is. Import page. And at the bottom, it brings up a window that says success. I have to hit OK. And then it says, do you want to open the page you just imported? Yes. And voila, look at this amazingness. This thing is absolutely wonderful. And if we come here, let's see where it actually put it. Oh, nope, it didn't put it there. So what we can do here, if you need to move it, is we're going to come here and go to Settings, Move Page, and we're going to put it under the MSFS tier. And there it is. So it is absolutely beautiful. And now when we go into the sim, this is obviously far better than the one that I created. But you guys can see some of the things need to be adjusted. Okay, so we have a ground speed, knots, things like that. You're going to have to scale a bit, and I haven't messed with any of that yet, so I'm not going to try to guess it while we're on the screen here. But let's go back to our simulator. Oh, you know what? We need to find a way. We need to create a button to get to this page. So before we do that, I got a little ahead of myself because this part's exciting. So we're going to go back to the MSFS, and let's go to our flight page. And we're just going to create another button. So let's go, let's say we don't want to use ours. We're going to throw ours in the trash. So we want to do I'm not really throwing it in the trash. I want to learn how to do this. We're going to go to page. And again, go to MSFS, find the Flight Sim 2020 landscape. And we're going to do this and go, just call it as is right now. I think I got that. That works. I can just leave it like that. We all know what it is. Select my font. Click my button. And I'm going to make this one a little bit darker so it stands out. Throw that on there. Hit save. And it is now on my tablet. Hit refresh. There we go. And now, let me show you what I've got going on the tablet and in the sim. Okay, so now you can see someone has done far better work than what I have done. So let's go ahead and just look at a few of the options that we have here. I'll try to turn this so that way I can orient everything correctly. Notice here it shows the engine stopped in the bottom right or in the bottom left there. But there's our battery master. There's our alternator master. Let's make sure to see your parking brake is on, so red is indicating on. Now, if we want, we can do just an engine start. Okay, let's go to our, let's see here. There we go. We got our beacon light, our nav lights, taxi light, torch, if you guys need a flashlight. The panel lights. You need to set your trim. Now you have to keep tapping it. It doesn't seem to have a hold function. Okay. We have sim rate. Let's see your flaps. Here's our flap switch. That's kind of cool. It even shows you flaps 1, flaps 2. So some of these guys can get far better than us. Now we can set our barometric pressure. And if you look up at the top of the window here, you can see that it's been adjusted accordingly. Almost right on the money. Shows our airspeed. You guys are catching the gist of all the things you can do. I could go all through this page, but quite frankly, that would just take too much time, and I know I've already burned enough. I really hope you guys see the value of this. Think about how many different screens you could possibly have. I imagine you could run more than one application at a time, determining what pages you have on each one. I'm not sure how that would work yet. We'd have to dive into that, but the number of pages that you could create and navigate to is almost endless. I mean, it really is. And every function that you can think of in here would exist. So it's really amazing. It's really a fantastic integration, and I am super excited that we now have that ability. And if you guys saw, I did put the auto size there. Let me make sure we're still recording. We were. And you can see that now everything has been cleaned up. The text size is right. The font looks much nicer. We even have the active pause. And it lights up around it, which is sick. There's the RGB ring. That's cool. So anyways, guys, I truly hope you enjoyed this video. I tried to make it as informative as I could without dragging it on too long, but still being able to demonstrate and get the point across. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this. As always, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know what you guys think of this application down below in the comments field. And above everything else, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you in the next one.